Hey everyone, Paul Johnson from Waconia, Minnesota, and also part of the Laughing Trail Fly Tying Club. Today I'm going to tie in a Higa's SOS. So the original pattern was created by Spencer Higa fishing the Provo River in Utah. And what he did is he combined a pheasant tail nymph and a zebra midge into one fly. My introduction to this pattern was several years ago at our Laughing Trail Fly Tying Club, where we tie at the American Legion, and we're kind of in a dining room, if you will, and one of the patrons from the bar came out and he says, "Do you tie a Higa's SOS," which is my favorite fly when I go to Montana every year. And so, no, I hadn't heard of it. I think I remember tying a few, fishing a few, and put it in my fly box and forgotten since then. So thought it'd be a good time to pull this pattern back out. So I'm tying mine on a size 14 emerger style hook. I do have a 2.5 millimeter tungsten bead. The tail is black pheasant tail fibers. The body is just tying thread. I'm using 70 denier UTC thread. The ribbing is small silver wire. The wings are red crystal flash size midge. The thorax is some super bright peacock dubbing. And in the wing case is red holographic tinsel, size medium. So let's see how this goes for us today. You can tie this at 14, 16, 18s. I like this emerger hook. It's actually gives you a little bit smaller profile of a fly and a little bit bigger hook gap than some of the smaller hooks. Thread, I mentioned I'm using black 70 denier UTC thread, and I'll lay a bed of thread or a layer of thread down around the bend of the hook a little bit and come back. And at this point I'm just trying to build just a little bit of a taper from front to back. Get to the back, and I've got 5 strands of black pheasant tail fibers. So what I'll do is just make a couple, not tight, but reasonably tight wraps of thread. Look at my tail, it's a little bit too long, so I'll just gently pull on that and shorten it up a little bit. That looks better. Try to keep that right on top of the hook shank, and I'll wrap that up to the bead, and that, as a diameter of those pheasant tail fibers gets thicker towards the base, adds just a little bit more of a taper to my fly. I will tie in a length of silver wire, size medium, size small. Get that tied in. Now I, for habit, just counter wrap all my wires. So with that, I want the wire tied in parallel to the hook shank on my side of the hook. If you were going to do a standard wrap, you could have it on the other side of the hook. Now with my tying thread, this UTC thread, I'm going to spin my bobbin counterclockwise and just flatten out my tying thread a little bit and just build a nice smooth body at this point. All right, and then just even space wraps with that silver wire. From back to front. And here I'll trap that with my tying thread, secure that, come in with a fingernail clippers and just clip that excess wire out of there. If you got a little bit of a tag in like I do there, you can just kind of fold that down. Now I've got some of that red floss, holographic tinsel. I said floss, and that's what the original fly pattern was tied, was red floss. So just tie that on right, make sure it's right on top of the hook shank. And then I'll add some of that dubbing. I like this super bright dubbing in peacock. The original pattern had, I think, possum or just some black super fine dubbing perhaps. And then one other change I've made is I like red legs. The original pattern had black legs. So I took a strand of that crystal flash, tied in on my side of the hook, a couple of tight wraps, and then I'll just pull it around to the far side of the hook, and with some X wraps secure that in place. Now I add just a touch more dubbing. And then we'll pull that wing case forward, the tinsel forward to make a wing case. And we'll secure that in place. I can clip off that excess tinsel. And at this point I'll whip finish. I'll now pull the legs back and get, maybe halfway down the body and snip those off. And if you have any of this loose dubbing in there, you can snip that out of there carefully. You don't want to cut the lings. So there it is, Higa's SOS. Fun pattern, actually a very easy pattern to tie, and just give you a little something different to put in your fly box. So thanks for watching, sure appreciate it.